Hey everybody, oh man, I'm finally recovered from JordanCon 15. I guess 8 hours of sleep stretched across 4 days just isn't enough when you're this close to 40. Oh man, this close to 40. JordanCon was a ton of fun this year. I've had more fun than I've had in many years. Masking and vaccines were still fully encouraged by the convention staff. They kept things as clean as possible with close to 750 people in attendance. But they had an amazing turnout. They raised close to $24,000 for amyloidosis research at the Mayo Clinic. And for those who don't know, amyloidosis is the disease that took Robert Jordan for us far too soon. Amazon gave the programming staff a pre-recorded video of an AMA. The questions were solicited from you and us. Now, on that video, answering a lot of those questions are Rafe Judkins, Sarah Nakamura, Daniel Henney, Priyanka Bose, Taylor Napier, Kate Fleetwood, and 4 new actors that we got through casting announcements at the con. Some of them were even in costume. It's pretty cool. We'll go into that more in the video. Hey everybody, and welcome to Dragonmount. I'm your host for today, Thom DeSimone. I know there's a noticeable lack of Ebony, the Empress, may she live forever, and Kitty Rallo, but you can catch Empress Ebony, may she live forever, with me every Monday when we do our episode rewatches of all of our favorite shows while we wait for season 2 to come out. And Kitty Rallo can be found on our Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, posting all of her shenanigans as well as cooking Wheel of Time recipes and interviewing Lanfear and even Bella sometimes. And I want to make sure I thank our sponsor, Tor Books, as well as our other sponsors, all of you. I mean, the Wheel of Time community is the reason why we make these videos. It's a ton of fun to be able to sit and talk about the Wheel of Time and all the other nerd stuff that excites us. Whether you support us over on Patreon or just interacting with our videos and posts and articles on Dragonmount.com, honestly, just thank you from all of us. Make sure to leave comments below. We like to see what you guys are thinking and maybe what you want to hear from us next. In this video, I've compiled clips from the AMA as well as a bunch of other content. But first, let's let Rafe himself tell us what was and wasn't in this video.
Hey everybody, for what is now my annual tradition, I'm here to explain why I'm not at JordanCon. We are working hard on season 3 of Wheel of Time. I'm here on a set that features quite heavily in season 2. And to celebrate the 15th anniversary of JordanCon, I am here to officially not announce the season 2 release date. But what we will give you is a few of our amazing new cast members. They've been with us for a year or years in some case already, and now you finally get to meet them. Here they are.
Hi, my name's Ayola Smart and I play Avienda.
Hi, my name is Maya Simonsen and I play Jihad.
Hi, my name is Sara Karaknas and I play Bane.
Hello, everyone at JordanCon. I hope you're all having an amazing time. My name is Jay Duffy and I'm really delighted to be finally able to tell you all that I'm going to be playing Dane Bornhold in the Wheel of Time.
Now, Rafe looks like he's having a ton of fun trolling us a little bit here with the release dates, but in all honesty, we know that the release dates and announcing the release dates is completely not up to him, so I'm sure he doesn't even know exactly when it's going to get released yet. But if you remember in the live interview that Kathy Campbell and I did with Rafe Judkins that you could find over on our YouTube channel, Rafe did say that it would be coming out in 2023, so hopefully we'll see it soon. Now, also you saw our favorite group of maidens here, to which I will lovingly refer to as the ABC Maidens, Avienda, Bane, and Chiad. Now, obviously we got Ayula Smart or Avienda last year at JordanCon, but this year we got 4 new actors. Yes, I said 4. I know there were only 3 new actors in this video, and more on that in a second. We also met Raga Ragnars and Maya Simonsen. Raga is playing Chiad and Maya is playing Bane, and oh my god, they are hilarious. Like, seriously, just their interactions with each other throughout this video, which I'll show a clip of in a few minutes, is just fantastic. Their costumes look fantastic, and their signing, their maiden hand talk is really cool. I'm curious to look into if it's some sort of form of sign language. It doesn't look like American Sign Language that I know. I don't know a lot of it, but it doesn't look like any I've seen. It could be maybe a form of European Sign Language or some other sign language or just a thing completely made up for the show. Who knows? We also saw Daddy Duffy. J Daddy. Jay Duffy playing Dane Bornhold. And yeah, man, that man is gorgeous. And him playing Dane Bornhold is going to be really interesting because, Dane is a really unlikable character and a bit of a drunkard too, if I remember correctly. So to see him played by someone so good looking and, articulate is going to be interesting. I wonder if they're going to be maybe expanding his role a little bit, possibly combining his role with another certain likable white cloak that has an interesting storyline later on in the books. Now, like I said, there were 4 new actors announced in this AMA. The 4th one was Rima Tiwiata. She will be playing the Blue Aja Mistress of Novices, Sheriam Sadai. I saved this because I really want to watch the entirety of her introduction. I cut Raga and Maya's a little short, and Jay Duffy's, there's some more that they go into there, but we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But hers, I really wanted to show in its entirety because, well, just watch.
I'm Rima Tiwiata. When I auditioned for Wheel of Time, they had a false name for the show and false characters. The script was elevated and magical, but I still didn't know what show I was going to be in. When I got the role, I found out. I was shocked, but calm. It felt surreal, like I was floating.
Huh?
I love being in Wheel of Time. It's so easy to become immersed in Sheriam, their thoughts and moods and tactics and shifting intensities. And I look forward to fans experiencing the dynamics between Sheriam and novices and Sheriam and Aes Sedai. Enjoy Series 2.
Okay, so yeah, that was special, man. she's my kind of crazy. Like I love it. She was molesting a tree, laying on a bench. I would have loved to be an onlooker while she was filming this. I want to know who played her cameraman. I have so many questions. I want to talk to this woman. She seems fantastic, like a fantastic human being. About some of the stuff she said, she talked about interacting with novices and Aes Sedai. So we can think that maybe she's going to be doing some interacting with our brand new novices, Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine, and maybe some others in the tower. Maybe she'll be doing a bit more than Sheriam did in the books. Okay, so before we get into the actual AMA, I want to talk about one of those little hints that they dropped about Season 2 and Season 3 during this video. Rafe and Sarah talk about the set that they're sitting on while answering some of these questions and announcing the new actors.
I'm here on a set that features quite heavily in Season 2. A scene that looked really effortless in the final cuts. I think it looked effortless in the final cuts, but was hard to film. We actually did a couple scenes in this room that were incredibly difficult to film. A lot of resets, blood, visual effects, water, resetting of costume, unsetting of costume, change of costume. It was massive, and it all took place in here. You'll see it in Season 2. And it's a little bit in Season 3 as well, so you might be able to tell what it is from what's behind me. I don't know.
There are some moments that happen within the room that we're sitting in that are so incredibly powerful and rip me to shreds, and I'm really, really excited for fans to see it.
Okay, so wow. So Rafe said there was a lot of resetting to do for changes of costume and cleaning up blood and water. Sarah said that they filmed season there that gutted her and completely left her emotionally raw. So this is probably, in my opinion, where we're going to see Egwene get collared or something with the Seanchan. And from the end of Season 1 and, the end of Book 2, we know the Seanchan are in Fame, which is a coastal city, so them needing to clean up water wouldn't be far off. But also, the Seanchan like to make really big waves and kill little girls, apparently, from the end of Season 1. And then the blood, I mean, could be anything. We know that they do tend to not be too nice to their servants. They could be killing people not willing to kneel to Suroth, or maybe even Tuan if she's there. Lord Turok, perhaps. The fact that they talked about the scene being very emotional made me really think that it's going to be something to do with Egwene and being collared. We know that during the New York Comic Con, Rafe and most of the cast that were there talked about how Madeline's portrayal of Egwene in season 2 was just amazing, and how there was a lot of scenes that were particularly hard to film and made them cry. So I really think it's going to have to do with Egwene being collared. But, you know, I could be wrong. Now, I did take this still here from the video, and I chose this particular still because look at Rafe's face. He's definitely enjoying himself. Look at how he's smirking here. This is what when he was saying possibly season 3 as well. So yeah, definitely happy with himself here. So if this is Thom, you know, we do know that in the beginning of book 3, they're still in Thom and then they leave. So that could easily be where they are. So if the end of season 2 has them at Thom and everything that happens in the Great Hunt, maybe even some of stuff from the Dragon Reborn, we know at least at the end of the season, Rand should be there. And then at the beginning of season 3, that's probably where he'll be leaving, and that's why it's going to be in both seasons. If we zoom in here on the background here, I mean, it's hard to see clearly what the carvings are on the pillars, but I get real Seanchan vibes from it. The helmets of the Seanchan warriors, clips that we've seen of season 2 really resemble some of the images in the background there, and it really just gives me strong Seanchan vibes. All right, so even though Rafe's been knee-deep in the Wheel of Time community for a couple years at this point now, he's really just now starting to see the crunchiness that we can get into with our lines of questioning and how far we can dig. I think him wanting to talk more about the White Tower and the people within the White Tower kind of feeds into the generally accepted theory that they're going to be majorly expanding the female roles in the books, as well as the Aes Sedai themselves, Tar Valon, and the White Tower. So now he talks specifically about the novices, Egwene and Nynaeve meeting Elaine. So that's going to be very interesting. At this point, no one has met Elaine in the series. So we did get that one scene during the sizzle reel showing Elaine in her novice or maybe even accepted's clothes, holding a lantern.
Well, I mean, one character that I love and am very excited to see come to screen is the character of Elida. I think she's incredibly complex in the books.
In season 1, fans hear me talk about landmarks, things that we can look at in the show or in an episode that are reminiscent or very iconic moments from the books. And so I'm really looking forward to the fans discovering the landmarks, the things that are very, very clearly identifiable from the books.
So the first bit that we got to the answer to that question, which was which characters are you looking forward to most in future seasons, Rafe talks about Elida. Now, right off the bat, people are going to be like, does that mean she's not in season 2? Season 2 is not out yet, so that still is technically a future season. I think he was being a little cryptic about it on purpose, but we'll see. I personally think she's going to be in season 2, maybe play a smaller minor role, and then heavily be in season 3. Then Sarah talks about not a character that she's looking forward to see, but landmarks and sets that she's looking forward to seeing or looking forward to us seeing in season 2. So some particularly big landmarks that we see in book 2 are portal stones, Thom, several of the cities throughout Thom. There's a certain shadow spawn nailed to a door that we see in the sizzle reel. There's a lot of things there, so I'm really interested to see what she's talking about.
I mean, we really wanted to draw from all of the elements in the books to explore the Aiel. I love the Aiel in the books. Everyone does. So you see it all in the show. Giato, Gaishane, like we're doing the Aiel the very best that we can, exactly as they were in the books.
Rafe says they pretty much pulled everything from the books about the Aiel. Everything from Giato and Gaishane. So I'm really interested to see that. And at the end of the clip there, we see Raga, who plays Chiad, and we get a little shot of, the costuming, and man, they look great. I can't wait to see their veils get pulled up and maybe kill some Trollocs or some White Cloaks or some bandits, whatever it is. I'm really excited to see the ABC maidens on screen. I'm amped. All right, in this next clip, we're going to see Sarah talking about the differences between Saidin and Saidar in season 2.
The differences between Saidar and Saidin in season 2, I think that we will absolutely see. I think that this year, in general, fans are going to be excited at how the One Power looks overall and all of the various forms that the One Power comes in. The channeling for season 2, I think overall is going to make fans really, really excited. The delicacy, the beauty, the intricacy, the weaving. As with anything in any show, there's evolution, and I think that we'll be seeing that this time around, and we'll be really pleased and thrilled with it.
Okay, so some of her word choice there, I want to say is probably purposeful. She says different forms of the power. So maybe we see certain Aiel channeling differently maybe than the Aes Sedai are taught. She says delicacy, weavings, and evolution from season 1. So obviously we know they had emergencies due to COVID and having to reshoot several things, actor changes, building of sets that they weren't planning. That could have impacted their CG budget and therefore the way the One Power looked in season 1. I still loved the way it looked, but obviously a lot of us were expecting to get like a visual aspect of it from a channeler and maybe seeing the different weavings of the power and maybe seeing the different threads of the One Power. And I think that might be what they're hinting at here, that we're going to see a more detailed version of the One Power. I wouldn't be surprised if the way they showed it to us was in the way that the characters themselves are learning more and more about the power. As the characters learn more about the power, the more the viewers learn about the power, i.e. the more we see and the more detailed versions of it we see. That would make most sense to me. All in all, I'm really excited to see channeling in season 2.
Adapting the Seanchan to screen has been one of the big challenges and also excitements of doing season 2 of the show. We all really fell into the Seanchan world, really wanted to make them feel simultaneously like a culture that had been separated from the other cultures of our world for a long time, but still felt a part of the Wheel of Time show. That's the big challenge and the excitement of creating the Seanchan world. I won't say that they have a Texan accent, but we do make a very strong nod to what was suggested might be the accent of the Seanchan by Robert Jordan.
Okay, that's interesting. So obviously, let's talk about the accent first. So I want to play this other audio clip real quick so we can reference that. Check this out.
Chapter 40. Damani. The High Lady Siroth? Leandrin said, making it halfway between a question and statement. The woman on the palanquin nodded fractionally. You are Leandrin. Her speech was slurred, and it took Egwene a moment to understand. Aes Sedai, Siroth added with a twist to her lips.
So now that's Kate Redding. And you can hear almost the way she's talking is like with her mouth closed because they sound like they jumble their words together. And the characters often talk about not being able to understand the Seanchan. Whereas like, a Texan accent is mostly like, a Southern accent, a drawl. So I think they're going to be leaning more toward the way Kate and Michael do the Seanchan accents from the books and less like just a generic Texan accent. Rafe also talks about how he wants the Seanchan to seem, having been a part of the Westlands, as they're referring to them in the show, but also still very much a part of the world. Maybe that could be reference to something that we're going to see that is similar in the Seanchan as it is in the Westlands. And the only thing I could think of that directly is the Ogier. So I'm kind of really hoping we get to see an Ogier Gardener in this. And speaking of Ogier, I really think, especially because of the answer of the next question I'm going to do, that Loyal's going to have some really cool scenes in season 2. There's a scene particularly in the sizzle clip that we see of Loyal, like his arms up and he's like, like that. So I think we might see Loyal doing some fighting, maybe getting a little angry in season 2. And oh man, I'm here for it. Hamed does Loyal amazingly. His voice is awesome. I cannot wait to see it. So in this one, we're going to hear from Daniel Henney, Landman Dragoran, and the ABC maidens themselves.
God knows I've spent some time with Trollocs. What was my favorite type of Trolloc is the question. And I like them all because they've been made by our team here and they've done such amazing work. But I think from an aesthetic point of view, I really like the Trollocs that have the avian features, the bird-like features, beaks and feathers mixed in with the fur and the human characteristics as well. And it's just so weird. And I really like that. It really struck a nerve with me. So those are my favorite Trollocs, but I like them all.
My favorite type of Trolloc is a dead one.
Like I said, I love the interactions with the ABC maidens. Avienda, Bane, Chiad, they're fantastic. Their interactions are just hilarious, and I can't wait to see their relationship on screen. Now, Daniel Henney talks about the avian Trollocs, which I have an image of right here. Pretty crazy looking, because, like bird-like features, it just doesn't jive with pig or boar and wolf and bovine and all the other types of Trollocs that we see. It's such a different type of creature, bird, some of them are bone structure and they have beaks instead of mouths and they have clawed feet. So I'm really interested to see how they do the avian Trollocs in season 2, seeing as Daniel Henney is calling them out for that specifically. So this next one, we're going to hear from Kate Fleetwood, who plays Leandrin, Priyanka Bose playing Alana Sadai, Rafe Judkins, showrunner himself, and the ABC maidens.
Okay, so there's a scene coming up in season 2, which I saw a little preview of the other day. And it was one of those, very short scene. I think it took us about 45 minutes to actually film. But it was scheduled in September. Then it was rescheduled in October. Then it was rescheduled again in January and March. And then by that point, we'd completely moved location. So they had to completely rebuild the little set in a completely different place. And then we finally filmed it in April. So it was funny watching it in the preview the other day, because I thought, gosh, that's a good little scene, but it was also took 6 months to film.
I don't know about everybody else, but the action sequences were by far the most laborious for me. I do not come from a background of doing action from where I come from, so it's a new skill. So I had to be extra vigilant and extra careful because I'm always afraid I'm going to fall.
Our stunt team's incredible. They have a sword master, Raman, working with them, and they are constantly building fighting styles that not only relate to the specific cultures in the Wheel of Time world, but also to the specific actors, so that every person has a slightly different fighting style, which would be true to the Aiel as well.
I perform all my own stunts.
Yeah.
So far. I do. So far.
We do all of our own stunts, and then there's parts where our incredible stunt doubles will step in and make the leap through the air actually leave the ground rather than
I do the leaping though.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
She does everything.
I do everything.
The safe stuff we try and do ourselves, and the stuff that's less safe but very cool, we get our amazing stunt to do that.
And it's really good. We get to learn the whole routine and kind of go through it, so you have that feeling of cohesion and connection with your stunt double and with each other. And then you film versions where we do it all and swap in with one stunt double or 2 stunt doubles and kind of have that, so you have all angles covered. But one day we will do absolutely everything.
Oh man, the ABC maidens are hilarious. I love them. I really can't wait to see this interaction played out in their relationship in the show. It would be hilarious if they're just trolling us and in the show they change them and they're all stoic and stuff, but I doubt that. Kate, I don't know what scene they could be talking about for Leandrin that they had to keep rescheduling. Maybe her meeting up with the Seanchan, handing over the girls, or some expanded role that she may be playing, because we know Leandrin's going to be stepping up her roles. And then Rafe and Priyanka both talk about stunts. Priyanka, how, she's not very athletic or, action oriented, so that, her stunt doubles had to do most of her stuff, or it was harder for her to learn some of the more action heavy things that she had to do, but that the cast and crew were, very supportive and helpful of her. And I would expect nothing less. They've seemed great. I'm sure her and Taylor, based off of the relationship that we know they have and what we see in some of the answers to these questions, I'm sure Taylor and her have fun with each other. But yeah, they seem like a really great crew that support each other and help each other through things. And Rafe talking about specifically the different fighting styles and sword forms that we're going to see is really cool. So how the different cultures will have different types of fighting and different sword forms, and then even the different people themselves, specifically the Aiel characters. The fact that he said that specifically, I mean, to me, just obviously points to there's going to be more Aiel than the ABC Maidens. Like, we're going to see possibly Gaul or Ruark or even more. I would love to also see a Wise One in the group. I know in the books we didn't have a Wise One come over the Dragon Wall in that first group, but I feel like it might be good to introduce the TV show audience who hasn't read the books to a Wise One more early on, especially giving that juxtaposition between Aes Sedai and Wise One channeling and Aes Sedai and Wise One social interaction. And that leads into the next question. What's another character that you would like to play?
I would love to be able to play the Aiel, anybody, any character of the Aiel. But the two reasons why I don't think I could play the Aiel is I don't have, both of my knees aren't very good. So I would be a terrible Aiel because I can't really fight in that way. But I love them. I love the look of them, and I especially love the way they they are just clear and tell the truth.
I would try Loyal. Just because it's cool. And it looks cool. And sounds cool. And it is cool. That's all I gotta say.
Maybe like either like Lan would be pretty fun to play, I think. Or Moraine. The duo.
Ooh. You know, I really love a snide, sarcastic, somewhat bitchy comment, so I would have to say Liandrin, or I don't know. Lan would be fun to play just because those two are the most polar opposites you could probably find on our show. So I think either one would be a fun challenge.
Kate Fleetwood says she'd love to play the Aiel, and I mean, who wouldn't? They get awesome spears and they are amazing fighters. Taylor talks about wanting to make snide, bitchy comments and talking about Liandrin, which maybe I wouldn't use those words to describe her, but, you know, Taylor knows her a little bit better than me. But Raga specifically, who is playing a warrior and herself looks like a warrior, says loyal and how cool he is and how much interactions he has, which leads me into this next question, which also heavily references loyal.
I always meditate as Lan. It started in season 1 where we had a moment where I was allowed to sort of improvise this prayer sequence with him, and I really felt that it was grounding as the character. I love Lan's backstory and this boy without a home and what happened, you know, when he was a baby. And so I like to sort of try to sink myself into character and meditate.
Actually, it's the same with every character. You just know your lines incredibly well so that you can say them backwards, upside down, and being asked to do whatever it is you're being asked to do. And so that you can play with the other actors in the scenes. So that's my main ritual for any job I do, is just know it really, really well.
One of the rituals that I have is music. Whenever you see me at work or on set, I generally have headphones on because that's what kind of keeps me grounded to the character I'm playing.
The ritual I have to get into character is put this costume on, because as soon as it's on, I yield.
100%.
Pretty much.
Yeah. When the weapons go in.
Oh, yeah.
When this leather part particularly comes in, it just straightens your back and you're ready to go.
I do a little meditation.
Well, I do that too.
To like kind of get into the space.
The ABC Maidens, obviously, here we go again, just being ridiculous, and their interactions with each other are hilarious, but also kind of poignant. I mean, those costumes are fantastic, and just the way Hamed talked about being loyal and putting on his costumes and the hands, I'm sure putting on those weapons and the Cadansor and even veiling, it takes them one step further into their characters. And I can only imagine what it feels like to wear that awesome armor and those awesome spears. Like, I'm glad that the spears were kept basically the way they look in most of the art that we've seen, most of the official art. You know, they're short spears. I know I saw a lot of comments floating around there that the spears looked like they were long because of the way they were holding them. We didn't see the bottom of the spears in those images that everyone was getting angry about. So just the same as always. Wait till you have all the information before you get angry and start posting angry rants on the internet. And Kate, know your lines is just hilarious. But yeah, I'm sure, Kate talked about this kind of in the interview that she did with Kathy on how acting is just acting essentially. And she doesn't need to do any of the kind of rituals or things that other actors need to do, like, method acting or, really staying in character or, the emotionality of things. She just studies her role and studies her lines and is able to turn it on and off. That in and of itself just speaks to her talent. You know what I mean? Jennifer answered music. So I kind of, there's not much to go into there, but I'd like to know what you guys think is her playlist to get into Leanne's head. So let me know in the comments below what you think Leanne's music is. Like, what music does Jennifer listen to get into that character? And then my man Lan. So Daniel Henney said he meditates, and he finally kind of answers the questions a lot of us had about Shrine and the prayer that he did in season 1. And in one of the episodes of the Dragonmount podcast with Rajiv Mote, Kathy Campbell, and Maureen Carr, they spoke more about this. They questioned, Daniel pull anything from his Korean heritage into this, because there's a lot of what seems like Asian influences in that ritual. There's incense and just the way he holds himself, the kneeling and the hand motions. So the fact that he ad-libbed that into there really makes me feel like that's probably what it is. And I would love to talk to him more about that and see specifically what influences he used to come up with that ritual. It was really cool. So this next one, they ask Kate Fleetwood and Taylor Napier what their favorite scenes to film were to date.
I loved playing loads of amazing scenes in season 2, which you're yet to see. But I guess my favourite scene to play was the one in the White Tower in season 1, when all the women got together in the White Tower with the Amelin. It was the first time we'd all seen the White Tower or been in the White Tower. And it was just an amazing few days with amazing actresses and wonderful creatives and wonderful crew. And it was just wonderful to see everybody all in their different ages. And then our queen coming in, which is Sophie. So yeah, that was an amazing highlight of season 1. But there are loads of amazing things in season 2, and I hope you're looking forward to it.
I think my favorite scene that I've been in to date is definitely the campfire scene with the warders and Nynaeve. I think there was something really interesting and special about that scene. It was, in the books, you don't really get to see inside the sphere of the warders very much. So they're sort of a closed off group. So it was nice to be able to kind of let the fans see what those guys are thinking and doing and how they relate to each other and how they talk to each other and relax.
Kate, of course, says there's a scene in season 2 that she can't wait for us to see. But she also talks about when they first got to the White Tower as a group and how this was the first time that she interacted with all of the Aes Sedai that were currently on the show and seeing the White Tower itself as an Aes Sedai. So yeah, I can see how that would be really a powerful scene for her. Myself, I really love the architecture that we see in the White Tower. Now, Taylor's answer is really poignant to me because the way he answered this, specifically when he says how we don't see the inner sphere of the Warders society in the books, really makes me feel like he's read the books multiple times, or at least really engrossed himself in the books and understands the Warders in a way that like the regular fans do, like we do. And that really makes me excited. I also really enjoyed seeing this. It was really fun to see the Warders kind of interacting with each other. They kind of let their guards down with each other, but also at the same time feeling each other's defenses out, trying to fish for information from the other Warders for their Aes Sedai. Obviously, Lan picked up on that, which was why he really didn't let his guard down at all. But also seeing the depiction of the LGBTQ relationships and the polyamory in the show was great. It was very healthily displayed, and it didn't seem like it was shoehorned in. It fit well, and I like the way they're doing Taylor's character with Priyanka's and all of their warders, and I hope they kind of expand on that a bit more in the next season. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how that goes. And into the next question, which is, do you have a favorite costume?
I love Loyal. And I love the way Hamid plays him and the voice that he's built for Loyal. And when you put that voice together with Ham's charisma, and you put him in this amazing costume, albeit difficult for him. He's had a lot of challenges with that costume because of weather, because of weight, the weight of the costume. It's been a learning curve for him, and he's the MVP, man. It's been really tricky, but when it all comes together, it's brilliant. And Loyal's costume is so fantastic. So that's my favorite.
Oh, well, all my costumes are favorite. Issa's set the tone for season 1. Then Sharon just upped it every season. Season 2, all my costumes are my favorite. Season 3 is even better, so it just gets better.
My favorite costume from season 1 is probably Paddon Fane's coat. It's such a badass coat. I would wear it all the time in real life. It does sort of give away that he's a little bit more than just a simple village peddler, but I don't know. It's pretty nice.
There's so many to choose from that are so fantastic. And I'm just like thinking about, even Sophie's costumes and the Amelin and the gold. That's one of my favorites. One of mine personally. You guys haven't seen it yet. It is coming in season 2, and I can't describe it because that would be giving away secrets, and I'm the keeper, so can't do that yet, but I will let you know on my social media after season 2 comes out.
My favorite costume in the series so far is how we see Moiraine when we first meet her. It's iconic. I'm still fighting to get that bolero. I think all of us are fighting to get that bolero, so definitely Moiraine's opening iconic season 1 costume.
So Priyanka says her own costumes, Alana's costumes, and they are fantastic. I really particularly like the blue and the green Aja fashion styles. The red Aja is also pretty cool. Like, I like the armor, like, kind of incorporated into it, but the blue and the green ones that we see in the show are really cool. And Sarah also talks about how she loves Moraine's, and I do too. Those armor pauldrons were fantastic. And a lot of people at JordanCon actually were cosplaying as Moiraine this year, and they did an amazing job with their costumes. Jennifer Garcia is playing Liane, talks about Sophie Okonedo's costumes as the Amerlin, and oh my god, those are amazing. Especially her tattoos, which Rafe posted a little tidbit on his social medias about, and we can look into those. I think, honestly, they're like Maori inspired, where they're kind of like tattoos that are telling a story, or Polynesian tattoos, where they're meant to like tell the story of the person. I'm kind of hoping we get to see her get a new one during the show. Jennifer also talks about a costume that Liane wears in season 2 that she can't talk about yet. Makes me hopeful that we'll see more of her in season 2, and maybe, some speaking roles. That would be great. Taylor says Paddon Fane, and I agree. Like, his coat is awesome, and I love seeing Johan Myers, who plays Paddon Fane. Like, he's just amazing. When they announced him and I looked him up, like the headshot that they showed was good, but then when I looked him up and you see like that smile, it's just like, it's both like he's good looking, but it's also creepy as hell at the same time. And oh man, does he pull that off well. Now back to Loyal. Daniel, another warrior in the show and someone who is himself pretty fit, talks about Hamed and Loyal. So that's another mention of Loyal and the physicality of Loyal and Hamed, who he refers to as Ham, and I love that. So this really kind of solidifies my theory of Loyal doing some pretty cool stuff in season 2. I'm hoping to see just like Loyal getting angry and just grabbing Seanchan or, bandits or something along the way, Trollocs, Murdrell, whatever it is, and just tossing them around, maybe even tearing them limb from limb or something. Ogier are powerful. I'm also hoping for maybe some tree singing. That would be awesome. Shameless plug here. Kathy Campbell got a chance to interview Hamed Animashon, who plays Loyal, and he was so much fun to listen to. He particularly talked about how he really doesn't feel like he's become loyal until he puts the hands on. And he said that it makes him interact with the world differently. And that's why he has to kind of change the way he interacts with the world when he puts those hands on. So that's what really makes him feel like loyal. This next one, we're going to hear from Daniel, the ABC Maidens again. And man, are they hilarious. Jennifer and Taylor.
I would love to have as many traits in common with the man as possible, but I think I probably do not. He's pretty hard to measure yourself up against, but I think Lan is a very physical guy. So, and I grew up in Michigan playing basketball, sports. So as an actor, I sort of work from the outside in. I work from a physical standpoint inward. So I think I share that with Lan. I think he's a man of the earth, and you know, he's very physical. Obviously, a swordsman, a skilled fighter, and so just a lot of physicality to the character. And for me, as Daniel, I'm very physical as well. I love to, you know, still I'm 43, but I still love to play sports and still love to get outside and be in nature. And I know I share that with him. I'd like to say that I share loyalty as well, the same loyalty that Lan has for his loved ones and the people around him. And I have a fierce loyalty for those around me. So I think I share those characteristics. I hope I share those characteristics with him.
Daniel talks about not being able to measure up to Lan. I mean, who can? Lan is like the epitome of male fantasy characters, like, you know, the best warrior, super emotional while never displaying any emotions. Like everyone can, like all the women that he wants to know his emotions without him ever having to display any emotions. And that's like the tropey fantasy man thing. Though I like Daniel's portrayal of Lan, honestly, a little bit better than the kind of tropey version that we get in the books. Don't get me wrong. I love Robert Jordan's writing, and I love Lan Mandragon as a character in the books, but I like this more, I would say, like updated version of Lan that we get in the TV show.
A trait that both me and my character have in common is that we're very tall, and I guess strong as well.
A trait that me and my character has in common would be that I need raga all the time.
Pretty much does.
I can't think of anything.
And here we go again. The ABC Maidens with their shenanigans. They're so awkward and funny that it's extra funny.
It hasn't really come up on the show yet, but you'll see it a little bit in season 2, is that Maxim is quite vain, and one of the dangers that comes with being an actor on a television show is the writers sometimes get to know you and they start to put in your faults and flaws into your character. So I think they've probably been at dinner with me and I've stared at myself in the mirror maybe a little bit too much. And that's now in the show for everyone to see.
The fact that he says that vanity is his flaw, and that the writers kind of wrote that into the character is great. And I can't wait to see the hijinks that he gets into with that in season 2.
I would have to say our loyalty. We have that in common. Surprisingly, her and I, we have a lot in common. We've both gone through a lot and still want to fight for the good. I know that sounds really corny now that I'm hearing myself say it, but yeah, I'd say we'd have that. Our loyalty. We have our loyalty in common, for sure.
Jennifer's loyalty, yeah, I mean, Leanne is fiercely loyal to Swan, and the fact that she chose that as her answer makes me think that they're going to be maybe showing how that loyalty comes into play in season 2.
Spears.
Yeah.
Look, Alana's prop would be her powers, right? Her channeling powers. So there are some situations in life, like I would like that. Yeah, I would like to take away her channeling power for my real life. Yeah.
That's easy. The serpent ring. Yeah. So, production's listening to this and just happens to see one go missing. I know nothing about it. Nothing at all.
And here we go again. Our ABC maidens at it again. I mean, whoever edited this also is just hilarious. Just props to whoever edited this, really, because they did a great job with with the maidens, especially this particular cut here is fantastic. But yeah, spears, obviously, who wouldn't want to, have one of those spears and also know how to use it. But Priyanka's, I think, is the most obvious, but also, like, yeah, for sure. Like, who wouldn't want to take home the one power to be able to use in your everyday life? That would be amazing. Yeah, and I can't wait to get my Aes Sedai ring either, from the replicas that they're selling. The rings are cool. I mean, they're very different than, the ones that we've known for years from Badali Jewelry and others, but the way they describe them in the book, they're also slightly different. From a marketing standpoint, it would make sense. Like, if you're just going to use the exact same design as the ones that have been out for 20 some odd years at this point already, why would anyone want to buy new ones? So, you want to sell merchandise for your show, especially like one of the biggest things for the Wheel of Time in merchandise wise, the Aes Sedai rings. While at the same time, the old design really made for the rings to be more wearable, like in everyday use. They weren't so obviously like a costume piece, and, even just the Ouroboros itself is just a very commonly used symbol. So it doesn't really stand out of place if you wear it with your everyday wear. Whereas this new ring is, I mean, for lack of a better word, gaudy. It's much bigger. I wonder if maybe we're going to get more into those rings and why they are designed the way they are in season 2 or further seasons. So I want you to pay particularly close attention to the end of this video or just Taylor's answer here, because you can hear in the background some interesting sounds. You can hear in the background some fun sounds.
Who do I feel who's most likely as the character? Well, I am. Most definitely.
Oh, that's an easy one. It's definitely, and I'm just saying this because she is sitting right across from me as I'm recording this. It's definitely Priyanka as Alana. I am still not entirely convinced or know, after knowing her for 4 years, where Priyanka ends and Alana begins. So that would definitely have to be my answer.
So this is another one of my favorite relationships that's developed because of the show between Taylor and Priyanka, or Maxim and Alana. They're hilarious together. Dragonmount also got a chance to interview Taylor Napier as well, which we'll link in the description below. Taylor talked about how Alana, or Priyanka, is always snacking, and how he always carries snacks on him so that, he has one available for her when she wants it. Everything that I've seen of Priyanka so far, she pretty much just is Alana, sans the one power. But yeah, no, they're a ton of fun together too. I love their on and off screen relationships.
This is an easy question, actually, because Martin in props won Survivor. So I think that's the one who would do it.
So he says Martin from props won Survivor. Who's Martin? I don't know. I couldn't find anything. I found a couple answers, but I couldn't 100% verify if it was the same Martin that he's talking about. The one that I found was Martin Mellin, Melin, who won the Expedition Robinson, which in 1997. But his personal wiki doesn't have him working in the props department for Amazon or the Wheel of Time TV show. So I'm not sure if that's him or not. Honestly, I couldn't find anything concrete saying, that there's a Martin that won Survivor who also works on the Wheel of Time. So if you guys know, why don't you let me know in the comments below. And that's pretty much everything that we got from Amazon sent over to JordanCon. This has become a tradition now, and I hope they keep it up for next year, though hopefully we break the no one from the cast or crew being able to attend JordanCon tradition, and someone's able to attend next year. That would be great. I'm hopeful, since they're already working on season 3, that they'll be done soon enough, or have at least some free time to pop over here and see us down in Atlanta next year in April. Well, as always, thank you for hanging out with me, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, that's all we got for today, I guess. Thanks for hanging out with me. What better way to wrap it up than let the cast and crew from the Wheel of Time show walk us out?
All right, you guys, have a great time. Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you guys so much for your questions and for watching the show. And I can't wait for you guys to see season 2 and season 3. And yeah, love you guys.
Okay, bye.
And that's our show. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, please subscribe, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, or leave us a comment. We love comments, especially positive ones. And if you have any friends that are interested in the Wheel of Time, please share some of our videos with them. And as always, a huge thank you to our sponsor, Tor Books, as well as our amazing Patreon community. And if you are interested in learning about how more of this show was made or some Wheel of Time insights, you too can become a member of the Patreon community. And as always, follow us on Dragonmount with social media. And thank you so much for watching.